F it. And I think, we had some ups and downs. We had a few mistakes here and there, but we were just clearly the more talented team. I think we were also clearly the better coached team. And when it comes down to it, we had by a million miles the more talented quarterback, and so I think that made a huge difference. And I want to say, it's like it's very common for us Jaguars fans to be like, "Oh God, here it goes. This is where we lose." Or
Well, it felt like that
I did
in
not
that first
feel
half.
that. I gotta say, I didn't feel it the whole time. It got ugly, and the
I
whole
felt it.
time, I swear, I said, "We'll be all right."
I thought we'd
We'll
be
be all
okay, but being down 10 points, turning, the first ETN
Yeah.
on the lateral,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, that's a
We can talk
gimme.
about that.
We should have just ran it in or been able to punch it in at that time.
Yeah.
But then when Trevor threw the pick in the end zone,
Which
right,
we were
right
all
before
triggered by.
right before half, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
now, in my head, I was like, okay, now it's starting to get back to, is this team? I was
What we've
questioning
seen
it
before.
after the Broncos game. Would this be a letdown? And unfortunately, I thought it was at first, but thought they responded really well in the second half.
Absolutely, all three phases of the team responded. They didn't let a big return get them down. Cam made his kicks. Shout out Cam Little, the guest tonight for the third time this season. We love him.
I don't know how many times they bring out the same guest. We're going for like a streak. I think it's Cam. Parker's been on a few times.
Yeah.
Anybody else you can think of?
I think BJ didn't BJ Green come out a couple times, or BJ and Danny Strigout came out.
I think Cam's gonna win the race though. I feel like he's been here so many times.
He's a family favorite. He's a family favorite
for sure. Let's go into the game ball though.
Yeah.
Who would you give this? The game against Colts game ball to?
I mean, I gotta go with Trevor again, man. It's like he had his ups and downs. This was the first game in 5-6 weeks where we saw like a noticeable down, but he didn't let it bother him. He used his legs really well, man.
Saw the didn't throw any touchdowns this week, but he had the 2 rushing touchdowns still.
Right.
Broke that streak of
passing touchdowns weeks in a row. Yeah, it's a bummer he didn't get the passing touchdown. I know he was looking for it, but again, we don't care how you win, right?
No, get in the end zone. I don't care.
Exactly. That's why I got to give it to him, man. And he did have some truly impressive throws. Like a handful where pressure in his face, hitting Jacoby Myers like an inch before the sideline.
Yeah.
Obviously plenty of passes to the guy that I almost wanted to give the game ball to in Parker Washington.
That's where I'm giving my game ball to.
Yeah, I was right there. It's 50-50 between the two of them. The two of those guys really stole the show. But Trevor just not letting himself get rattled and really just under pressure, making good things happen. I think it was huge. But let's talk about Parker, though.
No, Parker, I thought back-to-back 100-yard games. Last week against the Broncos, he had a career game. I think he went for
145.
Yeah, 140 something, and then over 100 again this game. Yep. He's just big. I talked to Flash about this on Jungle Beat podcast, and I said, he's like the sugar in our coffee. He makes everything kind of just work better. Like it's more explosive, it's more dynamic offense, and it's really tough to stop too. Now you got Brenton Strange healthy. This is what I've been waiting for all season. Everybody to be healthy. Strange, Parker, now you got Jacoby, BT. We can talk about him in a little bit too, but this offense is very dynamic. I think it starts with Parker having another good day.
Absolutely. Parker is the sugar in the coffee or the glue to the team. You know what I mean? He's reliable.
Yep.
That's the thing. And he can do everything. He's not like the tallest, biggest, strongest guy.
But everybody's fitting in their own roles.
Everybody's got a really cool role, and everybody can run their routes from any lineup on the field. That's another thing I love is it's not like Parker's always in the slot and only in the slot. You know what I mean? He does a little bit of everything, which is something I think is kind of signature, right, to a Liam Cohen offense.
Yep.
But it would not be functioning at the level that it is without Parker Washington.
100%.
Yeah.
I think it's a good one. Let's go into 3 up, 3 down.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like there was quite a few that I was trying to juggle between my first stock up. I'm going to give it to Buster Brown.
Yeah, man.
I thought Monteric Brown, especially early on in this game, was all over the ball.
He made some great plays on the ball, some great pass breakups, for sure.
I thought he was going to have at least 1 interception in that game.
He was so close so many times.
Yeah. So I thought Buster Brown played a great game. And for us in the secondary, with Jordan Lewis going down for the season, unfortunately.
Yeah.
These guys got to step up, and Buster Brown's been stepping up since day one, though. Yeah, I remember him even in training camp. I was watching practice and I was like, why do they have Buster Brown out so much? I mean, especially early on running with the ones. And I was really confused about that because I figured I thought Jarian would start over him. But he's been playing great. Another guy like Parker from training camp till now that's just continued to get better and improve and play well. So
Yeah.
Buster Brown would have been mine.
Yeah, absolutely. Going right back to the secondary, man. Jarian Jones had another great game, right? I mean, in his pick, he basically ran the route for the guy, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, I think the ball did get tipped, but
it did.
But he did. He did. He did. It was a nice read though. Like they were a little bit more aggressive because Philip Rivers can't throw it over like 20 yards.
Right.
But
he read it perfectly. He was in the perfect position.
Yeah. But it is a good call out though because without Jordan Lewis, Jarian's got to step up, and he has the last 5 weeks.
Absolutely.
In spurts, we don't have as much depth now without Jordan Lewis.
Right.
But I think starting caliber, I still like our cornerbacks. I like our secondary.
Absolutely, man. I mean, you can say stock up to the whole secondary, basically, right?
Yeah.
Like look, Antonio Johnson came in and sealed the deal with the interception in the end zone. Antonio Johnson and Jarian Jones, neither one of them were starters week 1, right?
Yep.
I mean, was Buster even starting week 1? We had Tyson and Jordan Lewis.
No. I think Buster Brown was.
He might have started.
Was starting on the outside, but yeah, it's a good call out. What's another stock up for you? Who's another guy that you had?
Yeah, I want to go to the D line. I think I got to go. It's kind of 50-50 between Trayvon and Josh Allen. On the sack, where we basically just pushed the offensive line into Philip Rivers.
Well, it was Trayvon and Josh Allen both at the same time.
That's what I'm saying, man.
And it was towards the end of the game, I think, if not.
Yeah,
like when we
later
needed
in
it.
the game.
Yeah.
And they just showed their strength, man. They said, you know what? We know who we are. Like, we will just come straight at you. Philip Rivers ain't got no juice back there. He's not going to be dancing around us. He fell down thanks to bumping into his own guy, and then somebody just had to touch him. So I got to say, man, Trayvon had a couple of plays where even if he wasn't getting the sack or he did get a tackle for a loss.
I was going to say in the run game, he showed up again.
Absolutely. You can see his presence, man. He hits a guard and it looks like a car crash. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go with Trayvon. I always like to ride with Trayvon. His strength really showed up this week, and I think he's feeling better and better. He's going to be a huge deal once we get to the playoffs, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm pretty hard on the defensive line in general, especially Josh Allen. Yeah. But I did look back at the stats. Him and Trayvon had a sack in this game.
Yeah.
I thought I saw a statistic too where Josh Allen has, I think, leads the league in pressures.
Yeah.
But he only has like 8 sacks.
Yeah.
So
he gets a ton of pressure. He gets back there. He's just like almost closing, and so, but hey.
Doesn't feel like that to me personally. I mean, not a shot at him by any means. I'm just saying it just doesn't feel – I always feel like I'm wanting more from Josh Allen just because I know the quality of player he is.
Right.
And I've seen the, close to 20 sack seasons.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just hoping as, against the Titans coming up this week and then also into the playoffs – he's just a little bit more impactful at getting home and getting the quarterback to the ground versus just being around him as much.
It's absolutely going to be a huge game changer if Josh Hines Allen is in.
Because you got to close out games.
Form.
Yeah, you got to close out games.
He's the type of guy that can put a game away. We've seen him do it. The Texans a couple seasons ago, right? He had like 2 sacks in 1 drive, and then they missed their field goal. He's the type of dude that can put a game away. And so if Buffalo comes to Jacksonville or whoever it may be, right now it might look like them.
Yep.
You got to be able to bring the other Josh Allen down, which he has plenty of times before. So
absolutely,
stock up to our defensive ends for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one. My last stock up, I got a couple of ones I want to shout out. I'm gonna give the last one. I mean, man. I'm gonna say Cam Little would be my last stock up.
Yeah, I like that.
I do think the whole secondary, and we'll talk about it, I think on stock downs, was here and there, up and down. But I thought Cam made some really clutch kicks, especially the last one at the end of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't remember him missing anything after like week, what was it 6 or 7?
He's missed since before the bye week.
Yeah,
before the bye week.
So he's been just steady. Exactly who we need him to be. Thought he helped really close out that game.
Absolutely.
So I give it to Cam Little, but I do think there's other guys too. Who's your last stock up?
That's tough, and I'm again split. But I'm gonna go with somebody that we've given a lot of love to this last month or so, and that's Jacoby Myers.
That's a
Not
good
like
one.
a huge statistical game for him, I think he had like 39 yards receiving, but man, he had a couple of receptions.
He had some great
the,
catches
the
in that game.
toe drags, man. Yes,
he had another one
absolutely.
across the middle too, where
Yep.
Trevor was a little bit more inaccurate in this game, and did get back to kind of his old.
He had some serious pressure in his face.
Yeah.
But
but
he had the pressure, he was like, Jacoby gonna be over there
Yeah.
somewhere. He got it out to him, and Jacoby was
he made some tough catches
Old
in that
faithful,
game.
tried and true, man. Especially on the sideline, the toe drags, and on the speed option, he had a killer block, man. Sealed the corner on the pitch to ETN. Go back and watch his block. He stood his man up and said, "You're not coming this way."
100%.
So shout out to Jacoby, man. As we do a lot. He deserves it.
I agree. I don't think I give him enough stock up just because I think he's kind of like one of those guys that you already know he's playing well, so you kind of forget him.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll give a bonus one too, which is ETN.
Yeah.
ETN.
Yeah.
He got more
season.
He's had a great season, but he had more yards in this game than I thought he did. We are slowly creeping back up in our run game.
Yeah.
I feel like they played better this week. It wasn't over 100 yards. It wasn't anything outstanding.
Yeah, 71 yards rushing.
Yeah, like 71, 76, and then Trevor had another like 20-something.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Anyways, I think ETN in general, just slowly getting back that running game, it's going to help us. We have to stay balanced in the postseason to have sustained success, similar to like with the defensive line getting at closing games, closing games with sacks. The run game has to close out games in the playoffs too. So
if you're at 3rd and 1 late in the fourth quarter, you got to be able to get that 1 yard.
And we didn't.
We did in this game.
We didn't. What do you think about that call? Do you think
we were okay?
Do you think that was the right call at the time? Like, what were you thinking? Were you saying go for it or take the points?
Yeah, I was kind of leaning towards taking the points. But I didn't freak out.
Yeah.
I was just like,
I knew he was gonna do it.
Right? Yeah, of course.
We've talked about this plenty this
year.
Here
we go. But
we've talked about how aggressive Liam Cohen's been this season.
Yeah.
In those type of situations, and you kind of just feel like he's always going to go for it.
Yeah.
He even said, "I probably should have took the points, just the way the game was going."
Yeah.
But
I think when we get to the playoffs, I think you have to just take those points pretty much every chance, unless if you're
going to take the lead
throughout the whole game, okay, we're running it on them very well.
Yeah,
that's a different story.
Yeah,
obviously, and I don't know if that's going to happen in the playoffs or not. But when you've got a kicker like Cam Little, man, it's like pretty much a sure
automatic.
Thing.
Yeah,
take your points. But even when we didn't get it, I'm telling you, I wasn't freaking out. I was like, I know we're the better team. We got this. We'll be all right.
Well, the defense bailed them out because Jarian came back and we got the pick right after that. I did.
Yeah.
Typically I'm on that side of saying be conservative, take the points.
Yeah.
I was in real time. I do have to admit, I was saying go for it.
Yeah.
But you think
That's
we
fair.
could get a yard. We should be able to do that.
You would think you'd be very confident in that.
But Hainsey was out of this game.
Yeah, Hainsey was out and
McCarry.
McCarry
was out.
So
that's that. So let's go to 3 stock downs. So I do think I'm going to change. You can still go players. I think I've changed my tune a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think I trashed on like Antonio Johnson one week, and I was like, now he's playing his best ball. So now I'm going to go more like
general,
not theories. What do you want to say? Categories, theories, whatever it's called.
Yeah, aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Okay. So I think number 1 is pretty obvious. It's the turnovers in the red zone.
Yeah,
red zone turnovers. Yeah. We've stayed away from it for a while. We had 3 in this game when you count the fourth down turnover on down. So what do you think about that? How do you think? Do you think? Are you concerned that's going to continue to happen?
I'm not really. I mean, we hadn't seen a Trevor interception in the end zone in a while. That's definitely. I mean, it's something that he's already acknowledged that he can't allow to happen, and he hasn't had to throw that bad in a while. So I'm not too worried about it. I think this was a good reminder for him. Like, hey, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, we'd rather you throw it away than really get risky in the end zone. The lateral fumble, I don't know what was up with ETN not getting that. I think he took his eyes off the ball.
He did. I saw it. He wasn't even looking at it at all.
Also, I don't know
why you
that's
call
the
it.
play call. Yeah, it was early in the game against a team we were definitely going to beat. Save that for the playoffs, man. Like, practice it every week until the playoffs. So I don't know. It's a little bit of a mixed bag in terms of like how alarmed we should be, whose fault it was, etc. But I'm not concerned about it being like developing into a new pattern or a bad behavior again.
Yeah, they've done such a good job staying away from these turnovers in this
Absolutely.
whole winning stretch. So
Yeah.
it's a hiccup, but I think we can manage it. Another kind of stock down that I had was similar to that was I think we kind of got back to stupid penalties. I
A little
thought we
bit, a little
I
bit.
thought we had some really dumb penalties in this
Yeah.
game though. I don't remember exactly what drive it was, but I think it was one where we got the fourth down. I think it was one of the times where he actually went forward on 4th and 1. Trevor ran like a read option or something, got it, but we had a illegal motion or a shift or something like that. So we moved back, and then I think we had a false start right after that, and then we're like out of field goal range basically. And then I think Jacoby had that. That's what this is what happened.
Jacoby? Okay.
Then Jacoby had the great catch on the sideline to make it 4th and 1, and then we didn't get it. That's what happened. So it was all in the same time.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah.
we go from getting that 4th and 1 to not getting it at all. So just little things like that.
Yeah, stupid
Penalties. I thought the Josh Hines Allen penalty at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I was like about to throw my remote at the TV. I was so pissed off.
I know. I saw it happening. I go, they're going to call a penalty on that. Josh,
Of
what
course.
are you doing? What are
Dude,
you doing?
I don't know what he's thinking. He's not stupid. Like he's a vet.
He's not a rookie.
He's in the league for 7 years. He knows he can't do that.
And they had being sly. He was not sly.
They had no shot of even getting close to the end zone before that, because I think that's a 15-yard penalty.
I can't remember what it was, but it gave them another chance.
It got him at least close enough.
It moved him up. They brought in Riley Leonard. He chucked it into the end zone. But I knew. I was like, some of the people I was watching with are like, oh, God, here it is. I'm like, no, we're going to be just fine.
Right.
Don't worry. So, yes, that was annoying. A lot of penalties were annoying. They showed how we were the most penalized offense in the league, I'm pretty sure. They said we had the most penalty yards. So you have to get rid of that in the playoffs. And it's been a while since we've noticed. Like
we've done a much better job.
It's been a lot smoother these last, 5 or 6 weeks. There was a handful of penalties against the Cardinals, if I remember correctly. But, don't let it become a problem when you're in the playoffs. That's all. That's all we can say.
100%. I think my last stock down in this game was probably – I don't know. I think I'm going to go with special teams. Kick coverage, I thought sucked. They had the 2 big returns.
Yeah.
There's another one too. I know that Cam made his field goals, and I thought Logan had a couple good punts, but I feel like there's one play I'm missing too on special teams.
We might have had a penalty on a punt.
Oh, that's what it was. It was a kick return, I think. So I think LeQuint went to the 50, and they brought it back to like the inside the 15.
That's what it was on the kick return. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could have went with special teams, but I could have also went with the offensive line, I thought.
That's what I was going to say. Is honestly, for me, I think the most noticeable stock down would be the interior offensive line. Not getting the 4th and 1 was like clearly kind of an issue with the center and right guard. But you also have to keep in mind that we had a rookie in at center, and who even can't even remember who was playing right guard most of the game.
It was Walker Little and Jonah Monheim at center.
Yeah,
but Walker Little was at right guard
most of the game.
Yeah,
Walker Little. We've kind of touched on this before. I'll go ahead and just put this out there. I think he's trade bait when we get to the offseason. I think he's the one tradable player we have that's on a contract.
Right.
It's a shame because he's had his strong moments, but it was clear that we had backups on the interior O-line. Thankfully, the second time we got a 4th and 1, we called a dive behind Ezra Cleveland.
Right.
Our tried and true starting left guard.
Who did play a much better game.
Absolutely.
I thought in general, though, there's way too much for that defensive line. I thought there was way too much pressure that Trevor had in his face.
Trevor got a ton of pressure. He got hit several times, like some sick hits on him, unfortunately. They were bringing pressure.
Yeah, and going into the playoffs too, like that's one of my things that I think we have. Honestly, I think I saw somebody what was it, Dan Orlovsky tweet out something today where he's like, I think Jacksonville's probably got the best trio, of Myers, BTJ, and Parker in the AFC. You know what I mean? The best. Yeah. And then I said, I think we have the best skill group easily. If you really think about it, ETN, Strange, Parker, Myers, and BTJ when he's on, like you can't really beat that. You can go to anybody on that in that group.
I mean, let's look at the AFC. Nobody knows any of the Bills receivers.
Right.
Keon Coleman hasn't been much.
Shakir maybe.
Yeah, Shakir is like decent a lot of the time, but
James.
James Cook is solid.
James Cook's really the only guy you have to really worry about. Him and Josh Allen.
Right. Exactly. Which is, to be fair, pretty
hard to stop.
Yeah. But then who else? We look at the Patriots. They got
Diggs,
32-year-old Stephon Diggs, or however old he is.
Collins is, Matt Collins and
got hurt. Hunter Henry is off and on. He's had a couple of solid games.
Right.
And then what's his name? The rookie running back. So
Henderson. They're fine, but I think my point in general though that I was trying to make, tying it back to the offensive line is I think we have the best skill group in the AFC.
Consistently.
I think our offensive line is very average.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a knock. I think we have depth and, versatility across offensive line. I just think we're very average talent. And I think we've seen it get exposed this season against the Rams. We've seen it get exposed against the Seahawks, against the Texans.
If there's the Broncos with the pressure they brought. Trevor was sacked 5 times against the Broncos.
And then they kind of tightened up at the end. But I agree with you. I think, that the offensive line, in the playoffs, as well as the secondary, giving up these explosive plays, just giving up a lot of yards, lack of pass rush. These are all kind of concerns I have going into the playoffs that I like our team. I just see some obvious holes that we have.
I was going to say that's definitely our biggest hole, our biggest concern is O-line.
Yeah.
I think they're playing above their talent level because we don't, we have 1 first-round pick, starting at right tackle. And Anton's been pretty solid most of the season. But I think it's definitely something that opposing teams in the playoffs are going to be looking to take advantage of. It's especially, God forbid, we don't have our full starting lineup in, if we don't have Makari and Hainsey in. Hainsey is
he's really the glue guy if you think about it. He's been the unsung hero the whole year. Yeah. So that's a good one. Any other stock downs before we move on? I thought the refs sucked.
I
think they've sucked all year on both sides of the ball. No matter what game we play, I thought they give bad calls on both sides. I saw plenty around the NFL this year and this week as well. The refs are so bad this year.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like I don't know what's going on, but a lot of other sports, the referees, that's their full-time job. In the NFL, all these guys have like other jobs, and then they're lawyers on Sundays.
Yeah, they're lawyers.
Yeah, or whatever it may be. So they should probably fix that first and foremost. And second of all, like it's not helping the whole NFL is rigged conspiracy theory when you've got these game change. Like we didn't have any game-changing penalties or lack of penalties in our game. But we've seen them throughout the season. It's like
there's always going to be missed calls. It's one of the hardest jobs you probably could have.
Absolutely,
is being an NFL referee. However, I feel like they've missed more than they've not this year. You know what I mean?
A penalty shouldn't change. Like unless it's a blatantly obvious penalty that is like very clear to everybody that knows anything about ball.
Yeah.
Penalty shouldn't be changing the nature of the game. You know what I mean?
Well, not even a penalty. Look at the challenge that against the Josh Downs catch.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. I didn't even think he got one. I'm not even positive he got 1 foot down.
And somehow.
And they gave him the catch.
Yeah. I don't know how they were able to confirm that.
They said it stands because there's no like definitive evidence that he didn't get both feet down. I was like, just watch the play.
Well, we didn't see his feet out of bounds.
Yeah.
Like, what is this logic? Like
that one frustrated me a lot. Especially because it went to New York. It went to the higher ups.
Yeah. It's like
in the booth, you had time to look at it, and we came back, and all of a sudden, Phillip Rivers on like the 15-yard line. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Was that when Liam yelled, "Are you drunk?"
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
So that's why I'm like, anyways, but yeah, I think refs would be the last stock down for me.
Mhm.
Let's kind of go forward a little bit. Stay in this week, but a game that happened on Saturday. Texans play the Chargers. That was the last, I think, real pivotal game.
Yeah.
There's a couple more. I think the Chargers are going to sit Justin Herbert against Denver coming up. So I think everything's basically chalked the way it is now, except what's the number 5 team? Texans. Once they beat the Colts this week, they should go to 5. What's your thoughts on that game? Did you get a chance to watch that game at all?
I didn't watch it live. I saw the highlights. It was just another great example of, it's not Justin Herbert's fault, right? Herbert, he played a solid game, but they
have no offensive line.
Yeah, their offensive line.
I don't know how they made it to the playoffs.
Yeah,
with that offensive line, Justin Herbert's got to put Superman, the S on his chest.
Exactly.
And I don't really think that defense is that great.
No, it's not. What I was going to say is that they just seem like a disjointed team for some reason. Like,
well, the injuries probably.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
If they had their 2 all-pro tackles, they'd be a force right now.
Absolutely. But they would get some momentum and then screw something up.
Yep.
And then they get like a huge play and then fizzle out. And so, I don't know. I mean, obviously we're not worried about them because we've already whooped them this season.
Yeah.
But they had every chance to beat the Texans. And maybe it is literally just one starting offensive tackle away from beating the Texans because I don't know how many times they sacked him. They had some good pressure on Herbert. A lot of the time.
They were all over Justin Herbert,
him, right? Yeah.
The biggest takeaway I got from that game, I rewatched it, and I thought Houston's defense. Obviously, that's the easy takeaway. They're unbelievable.
They are the best defense in the league, and none of us are trying to deny that as much as we might hate them.
But watching that game, what stood out the most for me is they went up 14-0 in the first quarter.
Yes.
And really the first 2 drives.
Yep.
Stroud had 2 bombs to Higgins, and I think the other one went to Noel, the 2 rookies.
Yeah, Higgins had it.
And they did absolutely nothing on offense for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
They scored 20 points.
Yeah.
And I don't know the statistics of how many times, how many possessions they had because of, the defense being so dominant.
Mm-hmm.
But they should have scored 30 points in that game. They should have blown them out, and it was a 1-possession game, and it was closer than it should have been at the end. So that was my biggest thing is Houston's offense is still not there.
Oh, no. Yeah, definitely not. They're not clicking the way we are, and C.J. Stroud is not showing complete ownership of his offense the way Trevor is. He plays hero ball, and he gets away with it. He's got some athletic receivers. So he's able to get away with that.
Yeah.
But they're not a well-rounded, very well-coached, or well-called, I guess I should say, offense. And so, I mean, I think if you're able to put up points at all against the Texans, you win. It managed to get 17 points before the fourth quarter, you ought to win. You should be able to win that.
Right.
They
remind me it's very similar to the Philadelphia, but with less talent. That's what it reminds me of. I think their offensive coordinator sucks.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I like CJ Stroud. I think he's a good talent. I like Nico Collins. He's a good talent.
Pull off that hero ball.
They don't have a good offensive line, so their GM really didn't help them in the offseason. And I think their coaching on offense is terrible.
Yeah.
But outside of that,
be back in the offensive coordinator market again this offseason, I would guess.
100%.
Hopefully they won't be. Maybe they'll keep him. They'll keep being awful.
So let's go. We did this, I think, last week. Let's do it briefly again.
Okay.
I want to go into – I think it's basically like we talked about. It's kind of chalk right now. We know who we're going to play in the playoffs.
It's looking pretty –
It's pretty – I mean, unless there's a big upset, I don't see it. Yeah, I wanted to play Houston. By the way, who did you want to play going into the playoffs?
Well,
because I think it's going to be Buffalo.
I'm thinking it is going to be Buffalo, and I'm not worried about that at all. I'm excited to play Buffalo because I think beating Buffalo will be a huge statement win. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, you can't assume anything, but I feel like we are absolutely capable of it. I mean, shoot, we beat Buffalo when we had freaking Urban Meyer as our head coach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Buffalo has had their struggles, they really do rely on James Cook in the run game to move the ball.
And what do we do the best?
And we are the best run defense in the league. So that's really what it settles on when it comes to playing Buffalo. And who I wanted to play, honestly, I was kind of hoping we'd get the Chargers again. Let's get another
I've seen a lot of people get in that same camp of getting the Chargers just because they think it's an easy win.
Yeah,
I'm in the kind of I think we would have beat them again, but it's like I guess I'm wrong in this sense because we beat the Colts at home so many times in a row every
Right.
single year.
Yeah.
But it's like how many times are you gonna consistently beat a team? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think Buffalo or Houston would be a much. I really wanted Houston badly at home in that first round.
We might get them in the second round. Or in the divisional round.
I think it's all the way to the AFC Championship. I think that's what it actually. I looked at the bracket. That's what it would actually come out to. The only real chance I think that we could play them again, and I hope that's the case.
That'd be wild.
At home too would be sick. But yeah, let's talk about Buffalo just briefly because we're definitely going to talk about them next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
What do you think? We talked about their run game with James Cook. You got Josh Allen. That's really the biggest wild card in this whole thing.
Yeah.
I think we can put up points against them. I'm not really too concerned about their defense.
Yeah.
But what do you think about the team in general? They just lost a close game against Philly where they did nothing.
Philly. Yeah, what was it, 13, 14?
Yeah, they've been weird for a couple of years now.
They are a very hard team to
read.
Judge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because what was it, last season, maybe the season before, where they were putting up 42 points every other week and then lose some random game against the Dolphins or something. I
think that was even this season, I thought.
Yeah.
Is that this season?
I think they did lose to the Dolphins earlier in the season. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. But they should have been able to dominate them, even if we're getting mixed up and the Dolphins lost.
Yeah.
Don't quote us on that. But the long story short is that they have definitely been inconsistent.
Right.
And so when it comes down to it, if we play our game, our fundamentals, who we are, I feel very confident that they're not going to be able to put up a lot of points on us.
No, I think it'd be fun to see Josh Allen.
Josh is going to have to go
person.
Superman.
Yeah, it'd be fun to watch it, but I do feel very optimistic if we do play them.
Yeah,
I think that's a very beatable team.
Absolutely. I have all the faith in the world that we can score on them and slow their run game enough that they can't keep up with us.
For sure.
Yeah.
Lastly, let's go into the Titans this week.
Mm-hmm.
We dominated them before. We didn't really get the amount of points that we wanted against them. It was a blowout.
Yeah.
As much as it could be, but it really didn't feel like it sometimes.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts going in? This is going to be at home. We have to win it because Houston's going to win it.
Right.
Win their game against the Colts. So we have to beat the Titans to not only win the AFC South, but also to get 13 wins. But yeah, to win the AFC South in a home game in the playoffs and clinch division.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts about the game and how you think it's going to go?
Man, I mean, I think it's party time at Everbank Field, man. Get down there, get partying, bro. This should be, obviously, I know any given Sunday, all that jazz. This should be an easy one for us. We should see Nick Mullins in the third quarter. I realize they've got a scrappy team. They've got a tough team. We saw how good Jeffrey Simmons was in the last time. We saw, we know Cam Ward's got a good arm. He had some good plays in these last couple of weeks. He can really sling it, but they're just not a well-rounded enough team that by any hopes they should be able to stick with us. So we play a clean game. We play smart. We should be able to take them down. I mean, look, let's be conservative and say, 28-13, probably more. We should be able to score more, but I really think our main focus should just be stay healthy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Agree. I wonder how conservative they'll be in this game.
Yeah.
I do hope we hang at least 30 plus on them.
I would love that.
I do think just as a confidence piece, getting after Cam Ward, getting a handful of sacks in this game, no matter who it's coming from, I think it's important for the defensive morale. I think the flip side, running the ball. I like to see ETN. We weren't able to run it at all against them. Love to see us really get back to it doesn't matter who we're playing, we're able to run the ball.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to see. So I think as far as like a score prediction, I'm gonna go 34 to like 13. I don't think it should be even close.
Yeah.
Who's your offense player of the game in this one?
Man, I mean, I'm inclined to say ETN, but I'm going to go all the way down to like either LeQuint or DJ Dallas, man. Like, we should be getting the starters out of there. It should be
I think
smooth sailings, and then we see some of these depth guys like
Yeah,
bust some big plays when the game's essentially over. So
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't talk all that smack with saying our third string running back will be the offensive player of the game, but I think it's going to be clear that Trevor will wind up being offensive player of the game again.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with Trevor.
I don't think you're wrong with what you're saying though. I do
Right.
think I would like
He'll
to
get in there. He'll take care of business. We'll take him out.
Yeah, I think we're gonna probably put up 20 plus. It'd be like 24 to I don't know 24 to like 3 in the first half.
Yeah,
And I'd like to see them kind of get in these other guys in that second half. And I think LeQuint, they're probably going to hand it off to him a million times. So
I would hope so.
I'd take LeQuint Allen. Defensive player of the game, who you got?
Ooh, that's another good question, man. I'm gonna go with probably like BJ Green, man.
Okay.
Like, it's gonna be another depth guy. Like you could say Trayvon if they were playing a full game. I would say Trayvon, but again, assuming that we start holding starters, I think Trayvon's gonna be able to wreck the game enough early on. They end up pulling him out, and then BJ Green will get a couple of late game sacks, including the one that essentially puts the game away when they're down by 3 scores in the fourth quarter or more.
Yep.
So yeah, just one of our pass rushers, depending on how long the starters stay in.
I'm right there with you. I think Josh Hines Allen has the biggest game in this game, or the bigger game this week. I'm trying to look right now if he has any multiple sacks. So Tennessee is okay. Here's a good one. So against Tennessee earlier in this season, he had 2 sacks against them. So
Nice.
I'm gonna go right back to the well. I think he gets 2 to 3 in this game.
Hell yeah.
And dominates it. So listen, we should be able to take care. It shouldn't even really be a big conversation event against Tennessee.
No,
This should be kind of like a get right game after Indy. Even though I think we played well against them.
it's a party. It's a party in downtown Duval.
As long as we stay healthy, we're gonna win the AFC South. One thing we do not want to do somehow is lay an egg and go to Houston, because that's what happens if we lose this game. So these guys should be very motivated anyways. But if there's just a little bit more, like, you don't want to go to Houston either. So let's host a playoff game and try it into the sunset.
Yeah, man. We're in the dance, so let's get ready to dance, man. Let's go. Let's take it to the Super Bowl, man.
AFC South champs, baby. All right, guys.
One step at a time.
Let's get a Duval and get out of here. 1, 2, 3.